Welcome, gamers, to Super Beard Bowl Season 2. Each month, we're doing an all-new 8-episode series complete with a beginning and an end, as voted on by you, our loyal viewers. Without paying a single penny, everyone who watches will be able to vote on one of 4 show ideas, and once you narrow it down from 4 to 2, the Beard Bowl Patreon tier will then choose between the top 2 for which show gets made into a full 8-episode series. This month, the winning series is Beard Bros Movie Reviews. Brett, Jirard, and Alex watch and review movies that you guys thought they might enjoy. Sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. The next public vote is live this week, so click on the description if you want to be part of the bowl. So until then, just sit back, relax, and enjoy another incredible episode of Super Beard Bowl. Guys, welcome back to episode whatever this is of Beard Bros Movie Reviews Season 2, part of the Beard Bowl. We are here, me and Brett. How you doing, Brett?
I'm hungry, thank you.
Yeah, me too. I got a burger coming. Like right now, it's on the way from somewhere. But there have now been 2 people who have been in charge of this order since I've started tracking it. So I don't know what's going on.
That's not a good sign.
And it switched while they were at the restaurant. It was like, this guy's at the restaurant getting your order, and then it was like, actually, no, this chick is.
Never a good sign.
What? But that's actually the same thing that happens in the plot of Sucker Punch. So that's actually a perfect segue into the movie Sucker Punch.
A switch up for no reason? You better believe it.
Yeah, right at the end. Yeah.
Yeah, you better believe it.
So we watched Sucker Punch, Zack Snyder's original movie, like his first thing that he made.
I should have looked this up. I know he directed it. Did he write this?
Yeah, this is like his thing.
Did he write it?
I don't know that he like wrote the actual screenplay, but it's like
I should have looked this up.
I know that it's like Zack Snyder's like pet project that he wanted to do for himself, and that he is the auteur behind it.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying I want to give him a honorific for this movie, but he is the mastermind behind it.
Screenplay by Steve Shibuya and
Zack
Snyder.
Yeah, this is the Snyder cut of this movie.
Yeah, definitely, and it comes across, man.
Oh my God. Okay, so basically what this movie is it's like a 2-hour-long like music video for a bunch of rock covers of old songs by women and about women.
Premise-wise, though, it's like
I don't know.
On the base level, it's like a girl in an asylum attempts to escape with her inmate friends.
Yes, maybe,
right?
Probably.
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah, definitely.
The problem is that even the central conceit of this movie is not completely clear to me.
Wallace is like, fucking, I'm out.
Yeah.
Sucker Punch.
You guys talk about Sucker Punch? I gotta go.
Yeah.
The central conceit of the movie doesn't quite make sense, because what the idea is, I think, and literally everything that you need to know is set up in like a wordless sequence in the first 2 minutes of the movie.
Right.
Which is that.
Oh, that fucking sequence. Can I real quick, like, as soon as this movie opened, if you didn't tell me who directed this, I'd be like, oh, that's Snyder.
Dude, it's like
immediately like slow motion music that's too on the nose.
Yeah.
And fully like really desaturated film with high contrast. It's like, that is Zack Snyder. And it's fine to have a style. I think what really put me off from the get-go was like really, are you really gonna have the Eurythmics playing, like, and not the Eurythmics, but a cover of their song?
A cover, yeah.
And that's fine. I don't like. I think all the music in this movie, I'm like, sounds great. But like, are you really gonna like show abuse during the lines about abuse in the song? Like,
some of them want to kill your sister.
Yeah. I'm like, it's just really on the nose, and I'm like, oh, we're in for a ride, man. We're in for a ride.
Okay, so basically what happens is there's like it looks like Wayne Manor. It's like some place that doesn't really exist. I'm not sure what time period it is. I'm guessing it's sometime in the 50s or 60s.
Yeah,
but
probably.
I'm not 100. And there's a lot of anachronisms in their imaginations.
Oh,
let me tell you.
You better believe it.
But basically what happens is the mom dies. She leaves everything to these 2 kids. The dad is very shitty. He drinks.
Stepdad.
Right, stepdad. And basically they have like an altercation, and he ends up killing the sister,
The little sister.
the little sister, and she goes down for it, and he puts her in an asylum.
Yeah. He accidentally kills little sister. Or he doesn't. I don't remember, but he kills little sister.
It's not even clear what happens. He just goes into the room with her, and then she's dead.
Big
later.
sister's like, I'm gonna kill you, and he's like, it's the 50s, and I say you're crazy, so you're crazy.
Right. So she ends up in an asylum, and the idea is that in 5 days she's going to get a lobotomy, and then he's good. His alibi is covered. So the stepdad.
Stepdad, yeah.
So that's the movie, except that inside the mental institution, they explain Oscar Isaac is in this movie,
Yeah.
and he plays like an orderly who I guess is like also the director of the meta. Like I don't really know what
maybe
his
head orderly, you know?
Yeah. Anyway, he can take money and like make things happen. So he's like completely on the take. He like shakes down the dad for money because he knows
Something
the dad
is definitely shady going on in this place, right?
Yeah. But the thing is, there's like a therapist in this place that's called the theater, and it seems to actually be a theater. So which calls into question like what this place actually is.
Right.
But he explains it as Polish therapy, where the doctor lets the women who are in this facility sort of like live out their fantasies in order to be therapy. That's what I understand the conceit is in the real world, at least. But what actually happens is anytime anyone turns on music, they go into like a crazy dream sequence that's like completely unrelated to whatever they're doing and is like a stylized action sequence. But also there's this other layer of like delusion of like that they're all in a nightclub together, and that Oscar Isaacs has like the Gomez Adams mustache, and he's like selling them because they're also whores.
So, yeah, look.
Literally do not understand. Is my point.
Our main character, named Babydoll,
Little Babydoll.
Oh, sorry. The moment LBD is about to get a lobotomy,
Lyndon Baines Johnson.
The moment she's about to get lobotomized, the movie kind of goes from this, very much like Arkham Asylum dank looking place to the same place, except it's a bit more colorful. And
it's still pretty shitty looking.
And a bit more stylized, but it kind of like reboots, where she gets re-brought to the asylum and meets all the inmates and the director for the first time. But now it's like stylized where his like Oscar Isaacs is not an orderly. Instead, he's the owner of this like burlesque house, I guess.
The guy who taps the no smoking sign is actually the mayor in this universe.
So it's within that world of the burlesque house that's like a front for shady shit that our main character LBD goes into those super stylized music videos. But like, it's not just that anytime music plays, it's like, it seems like it's very clear what one of the themes of this movie is, which is like people going inwards when trauma happens, right?
I guess.
Yeah, like check it out. So like the first moment where we go from like the quote unquote real world into burlesque world is when she's literally about to be like lobotomized, right? So she goes inwards to that world. And then within that world, the first time that we go into a music video is when she's like, this burlesque house, like she's forced to dance for like the madam, the bottom bitch. Makes sense. They're going to turn into a burlesque dancer. But of course, little LBD's like, feeling all shy. And then she's like, you better fucking dance. So
and for some reason, she's dressed like Donald Duck, which I don't understand either. She has like a little sailor outfit. Yeah.
So they put on this music, which sounds great, but it's totally not from the era, whatever. And then like instead of the audience seeing the dance, we go into fucking like basic ass Japanese temple in the snow. But then like a giant fight scene happens in the snow with Babydoll. And then
first they meet not David Carradine, who is another character that I don't understand.
We'll get there. But the point is, while the dance is happening in burlesque world, which remember is not the overworld, like that's still another thing.
Already a fantasy delusion that I'm not sure anyone else shares.
Right. There's the overworld, which is like Arkham Asylum, and then the burlesque world that she went into. And within that world, when trauma happens of like, I have to be forced to dance sexy in front of all these people, she goes into this like Japanese samurai world. And when the fight in that world concludes, it's coincided with the dance being over. We as the audience never see these dances. I don't want to see these dances.
But the question is, are there even dances? Because the dances are happening in
a world that is also not real. So what is the dance, being asked to dance in the fake world, actually even represent in the real world?
I think it's just I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck?
No, yeah, of course. Well, we know what it represents because of the end of the movie, right? Like,
do we?
Yeah, they represent the trials of getting all the shit, all the MacGuffins
That's not what I mean.
to escape.
I just mean like, okay, like we know that in the world of the burlesque, they're trying to get the key, the fire, the map,
blah, blah, blah.
and
All the MacGuffins.
whatever.
The MacGuffin combo meal.
And every time they do that, every time they get one of those, they do a sequence, and it's under this pretense that they're dancing.
But she's dancing,
yeah. And while everybody's looking at her dance, they get hypnotized by the whatever, and they're able to.
We have to slow down because the audience has to understand that, in case they don't know. The entire premise of this film, right, is that like she's so good at dancing that we never see. That, like, she's able to mystify people so that her friends can gather the items they need to escape.
Right. But the problem that I'm having with this, logically, is, like, what does the actual, like, okay, like, if the dancing, if the action sequences represent dancing.
Right.
What does the dancing represent in the asylum?
In the overworld, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, I think that we come to learn eventually that they apparently represent the actions taken by her or the group to acquire those real life items.
Okay, so what are they actually doing when she's like, we have to test your dance? Is that a completely made up scenario?
That's a good question.
That's, you know what I'm saying? Like, what is, like, I understand that, like, stealing the knife from the chef is, like, for some reason getting aliens a bomb out of an alien train. Right. But I don't understand if there is even a chef.
There is. In the overworld, they showed the chef. And he had at the very end when she's being marched to her room. They show the chef in the overworld.
He feels for his knife. So he's just real. So he's just the same.
Like, all that shit happened, supposedly, but we just never saw it because we were in Burlesque Town. But actually, we weren't in Burlesque Town. We were in the fucking music video.
So is Carla Gugino actually just a therapist who makes everybody dance?
Oh, is that the madam?
Gorski? Yeah.
Is she actually someone who makes her in the Burlesque Town? But in the overworld, she's like the main therapist.
Yeah, I just don't understand what the actual scenario is that's going down in reality, or if there even is one, or if she's in that moment just before John Hamm pops a fucking ice pick into her face the whole movie. Right. I don't know. I really don't.
Basically, to give you guys an idea, this movie plays with reality a lot, which is like, it's very clear that that's on purpose, whatever.
I feel like they just don't think about it, but either way.
I think the main issue, not the main issue, that's not true at all, but I think one of the issues is that it's very clear that certain sequences in this film are meant to represent certain unseen actions and events elsewhere. That's fine. I just wish that the allegory were better constructed. For example, at a certain point, the ladies need a lighter to escape. Fine. The music video that they go into includes them having to like slay a baby dragon and
slit the throat of a baby
and pull stones out of its throat to like act as like fire starters. I think that's great. Okay, fine, whatever. I get that. The problem, not the problem, but like I think where they could do a lot better is to extend that allegory where like the actions that we see during those music videos, action sequences, could line up more with actual actions that happen in the burlesque world, but they don't.
Anything.
But they don't, because the only thing that's happening during the music videos in the burlesque world is dancing. It's literally dancing and someone being like, "I'll take that lighter," right? So like, if you're gonna have like in your music video two sisters with like guns, maybe those two sisters in the burlesque world could be revealed either before or after that music video to be like distracting people with their dialogue. That's the guns, right? Or if you're gonna have somebody like, I don't know, fucking, if you're gonna have a character in a fucking mech suit, right? In a music video, like why is she the only one in a mech suit? Maybe justify that in the burlesque world with her being like, I don't know, like washing clothes or something like if you're going to like have these different people doing, if you're going to have these extended dream sequences basically, and only part of it, only part of the metaphysical conceit extends to like has an allegorical tie to something else in another world, maybe make the whole thing tie allegorically.
Yeah, like something, because like I'm not even clear, like, okay, Jenna Malone's character Rocket, right? She's sort of like this like sympathetic character who like really gets swept up in the whole thing. She really wants to go, and her sister apparently wasn't even mentally like ill in any way, had no mental illness. She just came to this place to be with her sister, according to their own backstory. I don't know if it's true.
Yeah, I don't know.
But that's what they said.
Yeah.
And what happens is there's this chef that like almost has his way with her or hurts her in some way early in the movie.
He definitely sexually assaults Rocket. It's true.
Yeah, and Babydoll like saves her, and then later in the movie, the stereo shorts out during the dance music video sequence where they're getting the bomb off the train, which represents a knife in the real world.
I feel bad for anyone who who didn't watch the movie 2 days ago like me, and is trying to follow what you're saying, but I do. I know. And then basically in that moment, the apparently actually hypnotic dance wears off on this guy. Right.
And he is able to like snap out of it. And in that moment, he like stabs for the girl and Rocket like jumps in the way. And that's all that happens in the real world. It takes a second, right? But in the actual music video world, what happens is that Rocket has this whole character moment with all the characters. And she's like, I love you girls. Like, get out of here for me. Like, do this. Like, it all needs to happen. And then like beep, 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 like sends her sister flying off on a jetpack. There's this whole like heroic element to it, and they're all like no together, and she like dies.
Right.
I don't understand what actually is happening, because are they all collaborating? Are they talking about it in the way? Like, do they all see it the same way? Are they thinking about this the same?
I don't
do they
know.
all know the David Carradine guy who's only in the dreams until the last scene in the movie?
Like, I don't think so.
It's just not clear is the problem.
I think the issue is that like, I think we're thinking about it way too hard.
I don't think so. I think these are basic, just like what happens in the movie questions. My point is,
I think we're putting more thought into it than the scriptwriters did.
Oh my God, yeah.
That's my point. And
that's the main thing about this movie that I have a question about, is just like, what am I supposed to get from this story? Like, what is the point of this movie?
I'm not sure if I've ever asked a movie what is the point, but I'll tell you this much. I certainly didn't care about the characters.
Like, what is the plot?
I think the plot is pretty simple. The plot is paper thin, as are the characters.
Yeah.
I could tell you what happened.
Like, why was this movie made? Like, Star Wars,
that's different
it's like
than the plot.
I guess, but like Star Wars, it's like, it's a hero story. You get to see like a little guy triumph over a big guy because good triumphs over evil. There's like themes at work, themes at play that are like clear and discussed by the characters in the movie. You know what I mean? There's like logic to the world. But in Sucker Punch, I don't understand the connection between any of the events that occur and any sort of growth or change in any of the characters.
Those are two very different things. I can definitely explain to you the connections between the events that occurred. As far as growth and change in characters, there really wasn't any. Like, I think it's very clear what happened in the movie. I just didn't give a fuck about it.
At the end, I don't actually know, like, okay, like, so she, at the end of this movie, first of all, the first question that I have is,
let's talk about
who is David Carradine? First of all,
nobody.
Is he does he represent a real entity?
There is no counterpart for him in the overworld of the asylum, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, but there is. He is a bus driver.
Right. So here's the thing. That sequence seemed a bit dreamlike to me as well.
Maybe.
But that's the point. Like, there's supposed to be ambiguity in this film. And I'm not saying that's a good thing. I think it was implemented very poorly, that ambiguity.
Yeah.
But like, for you to be like, so what was he? And I can't be like, well, he was this, because I think it was the filmmakers being like, I don't know, man, what do you think? And I'm like, well, I don't care to answer that question. You know,
I was just operating on the assumption that this was all Babydoll's mind this whole time. And the fact that And the fact that she sees him and she's like, we're good, is like so weird to me at the end. And then also, like, am I supposed to feel like, am I supposed to walk out of this movie being like, man, like, mental health institutions are bad. Like, bad. Therapy is bad. Like, therapy doesn't work. Therapy is just people trapped somewhere that they don't want to be, and every time they do something, they get sadder. I don't know. I know Zack Snyder has, like, issues in his family with, like his daughter, like, had mental illnesses and, like, took her own life. You know what I mean? Like, so maybe there's some insight there, but it's so wild to me that Zack Snyder was like, I want to write a personal movie on my own, and the plot is going to be about, like, the trauma of women and, like, how they overcome it. And it felt like he was trying to do, like, the opposite of 300, like a super, like, feminine energy movie following 300.
Okay.
I know that he was talking about this movie even before Watchmen. But the only time I've ever heard Zack Snyder talk about Sucker Punch, he was saying that everybody missed the point of the movie, and that the point of the movie was that what we want from action movies is perverse and gross.
Whatever.
And
okay.
I just don't even I don't see it in this movie. Like, I think the only part of the movie that's watchable is the, like, fight sequences that are out of the meaning of anything else.
Those are the parts where I checked out the most. I'm like, I just don't care. I don't care.
The action is not motivated by anything. There's no stakes. I just didn't get what I was supposed to be caring about at any point or thinking about as the movie was going on. I think
we're supposed to care about Babydoll, but I
thought I was, but then literally the movie is like, but you aren't supposed to care about Babydoll. This movie was actually Sweet Pea's movie from the beginning.
Yeah,
and that's what Babydoll knows, and that's what I know.
There's no normal for Babydoll in this film. It opens up with her whole world turning upside down, which can be done well, but this wasn't. Like, what did I write down? I said, it'd be nice if we opened up on Babydoll already in the asylum, or, you know, whatever, wishing for freedom every day, only to be spurned into her action by the inciting incident of the lobotomy. Like,
I don't even think she talks till she goes into the Matrix.
It's true. Or I think maybe the first time she speaks is when she puts the knife to the cook's throat. Maybe.
Oh yeah,
but the
maybe,
point is, like, she doesn't have a name. None of these girls have names. They don't have names. Like, any name that they have has been given to them by somebody else. Like, they're not characters. They're all paper thin, especially Babydoll, who, like, once again, it'd be nice to know, like, what her normal everyday is. And if they want to show her normal, if they wanted to show us her normal everyday with her, like, being abused, I guess, by her stepfather, great, fine, set up your story that way. Or if you want to show her normal of, like, she's already in the asylum and she's, you know, whatever she wants day after day, that's fine too. But instead, the movie starts with, like, guess what? Her mom dies. Oh shit. Yeah. And her stepdad begins abusing her hardcore. Like, what? And she kills, you know, she gets blamed for murder, and she's about to have a lobotomy in this new asylum.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like bam, 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 bam. And I'm like, because you do that, there's no time for the audience to get to know, like, okay, but, like, who is she? Like, what does she want? And it's like, and it's saying, well, she wants to escape the asylum. I'm like, yeah, no shit. If you opened up your movie with, like, a dude, like, waking up and going to make breakfast, and all of a sudden somebody bursts through the door and holds a gun in his head, and it's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you, man. Of course that guy wants to escape that situation.
Yeah, that's a given,
right.
But it's not.
Exactly.
I still don't care. Yeah,
exactly. And that's why, like, her escaping this thing is like, yeah, it's a fucking given. Of course you want to. You're about to get lobotomized. Of course you do.
Yeah.
There's no time given to make us know what do you want day after day in the normal. There is no normal, so I end up not caring.
And you know what's even crazier? That, like, blew my mind too. Is, like, that's the one thing I knew, is that, like, we had to get this done before the lobotomy comes.
Right.
But what happens after she gets the lobotomy at the end is that John Hamm, who has, like, a 5-second, like, part in this movie being this guy who gives her the lobotomy, is like, it's so weird. Like, after I gave her the lobotomy, like, in that last second that I gave her the lobotomy, it looked like she really wanted a lobotomy. And I'm like, what? Like, even if you're in a situation where You've gotten Sweet Pea out of there because it is somehow Sweet Pea's story, even though she really is maybe like the third or fourth most important character in this movie for the rest of the movie. Like, it is so weird that like she still doesn't like not want the lobotomy. It's so weird that she's just happy making a sacrifice because nobody told her to make the sacrifice. She just sort of like decides that it's the case. What's his name doesn't even show up to be like, you're getting it. You learned something. She just like, when there's nothing else to do, she just realizes like, I'll just die and you can get out. It'll be fine. And then I'll just get a lobotomy and you can just go out. And I'm like, why?
Right.
Why did that happen? Like,
there's a lot of very late game third act attempts that this movie makes to make it seem like its characters are learning lessons and becoming virtuous. None of it works. For example, in the overworld at the very end, when Oscar Isaacs gets revealed to be the shithead that he is, all of his workers are like, I don't know, man, we shouldn't be doing this anymore.
Cool,
I'm like, you've had no lines in this movie yet.
Yeah.
Like who are you? Like, why are we having this redemption?
There's no reason why you shouldn't be a bad guy.
The same thing goes for the doctor lady, where she's like, I didn't sign this lobotomy waiver. And I'm like, who are you? You're not a fucking person.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, when our main hero, LBD, like there's only one other person, like all the other girls get like wiped out and it's just her and one other girl trying to escape, and they get outside, they think they finally make it. There's a crowd of baddies outside, I guess, and she's like, fuck, man, one of us is gonna have to make the sacrifice. LBD goes, I'll make the sacrifice. That's fine, but then I think we discussed it earlier, she says a line along the lines of, nah, man, it's, what does it say? This was never my story.
Yeah, it was your story the whole time. I realized that just now.
Which is a lie. It's
why
nobody's story.
Why the fuck did you film Babydoll then?
There's
the whole movie.
This is nobody's story. The movie wants to make it attempts to trick you into thinking that there's some profound profoundness going on, but I don't really think there is.
Absolute insanity.
There's like at least 3 moments like that where characters at the very end of the movie go like, oh man, I'm changed. And I'm going like, how do I know that? You've never been around. Like, you've never said shit. You're not even a real person. Yeah.
Why did they have to slit a baby dragon's throat too?
I thought that was cool, you know?
It was fucked up. Like, why did they have to murder a baby? Like, what part of that was like, what did that symbolize?
Once again, if you're looking for symbolism across the board, which there should have been with those music videos.
It was just a dragon on the lighter.
None. There is none.
There was just a picture of a dragon on the lighter.
Oh, okay. You know what it is? No, I don't know. I was going to say, like, maybe the lighter is like, maybe the throat of the baby dragon to get the fire represents the neck of the Zippo that you flip open. But that's still stupid. That's a stupid thing.
That's like, okay. Like,
right.
Maybe like as a visual gag, I would get that.
I think the real problem here is that, what did I write down? This is it. You know what? This sums up the fucking movie for me. I usually don't care for dream sequences in films. This is no different. And this
is like every reason why a dream sequence can be bad in a movie, like boiled down into one thing.
This movie is about 40% dream sequence. And which dream sequences can be significant and they can be done well. I don't think they're done well here. I think Zack Snyder really wanted to like direct some cool music videos, which is cool. But like to like at the very end of that music video go like, huh? Did you learn something? And I go, no, like, stop.
No, why did you make this movie about violence against women if you just wanted to make like Donald Duck girl slice up Dark Souls bosses? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just don't understand why that extra element is in there. It seems just like randomly weird.
This feels like the movie Moonwalker to me.
Yeah.
You know, which is like a bunch of like very estranged narrative concepts that are loosely strung together. And then we don't know how to feel after.
Yeah. And the inexplicable presence of a normally pretty good actor in a villainous role.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
A little blonde girl trying to get away, you know?
And a guy who turns into a car.
Yeah, I think I missed that part. I was in the bathroom.
And then he turns Bill Carradine turns into a car. Or
you know what else
David
feels
Carradine.
Weird?
Bill Carradine. That's not a guy. That's just his character name with his last name.
What else? You know what else feels weird is every time they go into a music video, the ladies are led by this guy, not David Carradine, right? And who's very mysterious and comes out of nowhere. But I can't figure out why they're constantly like Babydoll is set off on her journey by this guy. Kind of, he's the one that's like, I'll tell you what you need to do. And kind of, as you said at the very end of the film, our last character is seemingly saved by him as well. I just can't figure out why. I can't figure out why the movie would choose to do that.
Why isn't that character at least a woman?
Right. Like either like have our main characters save themselves or teach themselves, or B, I don't know, like maybe have one of the other sympathetic lady characters do it, considering the themes you're trying to.
He had to be revealed
explore?
as like part of you for the movie to make sense. Like for the movie to make sense, that dude has to be your own will telling you to do this, right? Like that's the only like allegorical way based on how this movie is structured that makes sense. And in the end, it's revealed that not only is he not part of you, but he might be real.
Yeah, he might be a real guy. He might be
might be just like a weird Doctor Who type character that we never really get the backstory on. I have I literally don't have any idea.
If you removed him from the film entirely, better movie.
Yeah, this is like the movie Joker in a way where like if you watch this movie and you don't watch a lot of movies and maybe this is the first time you've seen anything challenging to understand, you might think like, wow, that was so like high concept and it blew my mind. And I'm not trying to dunk on the movie The Joker. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying like it's just a bunch of cliches strung together and trying to be something more interesting than that when it really isn't. And it's so weird.
I don't know what this film is trying to be, except for exciting. I know it's trying to like titillate and excite us.
Violence, porn, sexy ladies.
And I also know that it's trying to make us feel something. If it's trying to excite and titillate us, that's fine. I don't care. But I think I get a little bit offended. I think my intelligence is a little bit insulted when the film goes like,
right?
Did you learn something?
Right.
And I'm like, absolutely not, my dude. Like, you didn't even make me feel anything.
Why is it called Sucker Punch? I feel like I was sucker punched.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, maybe that's it. You know what I also wrote down?
The sucker punch is realizing how bad the movie is?
I said this film feels like a college play that was written by a college student that college student eventually roomed with like a Persian dude who's like the son of a fucking oil magnate and who was like, I'll make this movie for you, sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it has like big like there was a AAA video game about girls in an insane asylum together, and then like they did the fun DLC pack. Where like the Miami Nights DLC pack or whatever, where they just like are like now they just do whatever.
It feels like somebody's like who's very new at storytelling had this like passion project, and then somebody else came in and was like, I will make anything you want to make with millions of dollars.
That's what happened when Watchmen came out, pretty much. I think is that they were like, all right, you can just do this movie now, and he was like, great, I'm gonna spend $100 million on this.
So maybe that's pretty accurate. All in all, guys. If you like fucking action sequences, there's better. If you like music videos, there's better. If you like stories about women empowering themselves, there's better.
If you like acting, there's better.
Oh my God, yeah. If you like logic, there's better.
How many dead baby dragons out of 5, Brett?
1.
1? I'm not even gonna. I'm gonna give it a 0.
Oh, not a 0. Look, there are at least.
I would have rather not watched this movie.
Oh, but if that's the case, then I have to. If that's how the scale works, I gotta like redo my scale.
I feel like it has no value to me. I didn't enjoy this.
Did I enjoy myself? I
fell asleep watching it twice.
I was entertained for the most part, but there were definitely times where I'm like, oh man, I really wish this was over, and I'm like start to like lose interest. That being said, like that wasn't the way the whole time. So that's I'm gonna stick with like it's it's somewhat entertaining. So like
it took me 5 hours to watch it, and it was less than 2 hours long.
Holy shit!
Yeah, because I had to just like rewatch parts more. Sucker Punch, check it out on Netflix.
Sorry.
See you guys.
Oh, you want the lady sex? Kill that man.
No.
Why not?
I can just take an elevator.
Wackety sack.
Used to be Wackety Sacks.
Wackety wack.
Wackety sack, wackety sack.